Hi, and welcome to Messages from an Angel. Today we have our very own Alyssa Mahadeo. I actually had to practice her last name, just so you know, Alyssa, okay? Just so I get it right. I got your first name wrong. So welcome everybody. We're on today 12 to 1 p.m. We're going to be right back. We're going to be talking about her journey to TCN, into journalism, into the wonderful world of television. So come right back after these messages on Messages from an Angel.
Are you retiring smart? Make your home's equity work for you. With your home's equity and our 30 years of experience, the Retire Smart Properties team can help you achieve the quality of life you've always wanted. Our services are 360 degrees. We'll give you advice, take care of staging and selling, and help you find the perfect home and community to transition to. It's time to enjoy the retirement lifestyle you deserve. Visit our website today to learn how you can use your home to retire comfortably. The Retire Smart Properties team, powered by RE/MAX West.
Hi, and we're back with Messages from an Angel. We have a fantastic show today. I'm so excited. We have Alyssa on today. Okay, so I love the idea that you're here because you have an everyday job. Well, not really an everyday job because our job is rather special. Not everybody gets to work in television.
No.
You know, and
I mean, people do, but not everyone.
Yeah, and especially not like us either, because we're at the foundation of something very new with TCN.
Yeah.
And it's a very cultural show. It's a cultural station, which is really awesome, even though we reach a wide range of people. What I find really interesting about you and why I wanted you on the show is because I was watching some of your shows, and they're highly energetic. They're highly emotional. You know, some of them are highly spiritual. And then you have the practical. You know, one of my favorite shows that I found extremely informative was the show on cannabis. I found it very relevant. You know, it's really obviously current, what's happening in our world today. But it was fun too, you know, and you make it fun as a host. You know, and then I was watching, but we'll get into that, you and Simone and how you connect to the other hosts, and that was fun too. So for the viewers who are fans of our show, tell us a bit about who you are, what you do here at TCN.
So I kind of mentioned this actually a little bit on my show the last time when I did the show by myself. Where I get into a little bit of background of who I am as a person and why I got into journalism and a career in media. If you had asked me when I was like in high school if I would have been in media, I would have been like, no, because I don't know how to do this and I don't have the confidence to be on camera and around people and talking to them and being like all in their face half the time. And in journalism and as a reporter, you kind of have to do that. You have to be like personable with people. You have to be able to talk to anyone. You should be able to carry a conversation and not be nervous about it.
And you also have to be able to dig. So you have to be in people's faces at times too, right? Now, that's something you did talk about on your show, and I did catch that, by the way, where you were saying that you feel you're an introvert.
Yes.
How do you feel that this has really helped that?
This has helped foster the extrovert in me because I know I have a little bit of both.
So now you're an ambivert.
Kind of, yeah. But I'm still more of an introvert than I am an extrovert. And I can't, like, I enjoy that part of myself because I've embraced that part of myself because I don't enjoy being around people all the time. I love to like just sit down, be by myself, read a book, and be in my own time, in my own space.
I'm the same way. I love being around people, especially in front of audiences and what have you, but I love the company of my cats and my snake and my spider and just sit and just read a book. And, you know, Severus and I will actually sit down in front of a movie and he'll just kind of curl on my arm and we'll just kind of watch a movie together. So you enjoy that? Yeah, I'm enjoying that. So it is. I understand. And plus too, do you find that, you know, because we're part of this particular world, we're at events and we do all the media stuff, that it's nice to have that balance. It's nice to have that time when you just get away from it all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I find that a lot. What I always say is that whenever I'm at events or when I'm on the show or when I'm working, I'm always on. My brain is always on. It's in like hyperdrive because I need to be thinking about all the different things that I'm doing. And then because that's not my regular personality all the time. It's not like I don't always want to be on. I like to just chill.
Oh my God, so true. I find especially in your personal relationships to the relationships you have on the air, because you do, it's like, wow, you're not like that. I get that a lot. You're not what I thought you were. You're not that person on, you know, the website or on your TV show. I'm like, no. And it's not that I'm not being real, because you did mention that on the show too. It's like, you know, you want to be real. You want to be relatable. But the reality is when you're on the air, even if you're having a crappy day, you got to turn that off and put yourself aside. You know, and I've done that, and I've literally had to coach myself sometimes and go, you know what? I just got to put myself aside. There are people out there, and we're in their living room, so we become a part of their family. You know, and that's very, very true for me. Anyway, so tell me a little bit about your journey into journalism. Like, why did you pick journalism, and how did that lead you here?
So originally, like way back in the day, I wanted to be a designer.
Really?
Yeah,
what kind of designer?
Actually, because I love art. I have like a passion for creating things. I love drawing. I love things like that. So I loved to sketch dresses specifically.
Nice.
Like I wanted to be a dress designer. This was me like way back when I was like little. And then I remember, because I have West Indian parents, they were just like, are you going to be able to make a career out of that? Are you even good enough to do things like that?
Maltese people are the same way. Be a teacher, be a nurse. Yeah, okay, Mom, I'm going to be a psychic.
We're only allowed to be doctors and lawyers.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
how it goes. So when you want to get into something that is a creative profession, they're like, you can't make money doing that. Yeah. And I was like, but can't you? So by the time I had gotten into high school, I knew I had to kind of make a decision as to what I was going to be doing with my life. And I took a lot of creative writing classes. I was a part of like the yearbook club and like the media studies class and everything like that. So I would go out and make videos. I would edit videos. I would be on camera, and I would do a lot of writing scripts and things like that. And I was like, I actually enjoy this. Yeah. This is actually nice. And then again, I loved English class because I just enjoy a good book. Mm-hmm. So I was like, oh, if we can read this and do a book report on this, I'm about this all day.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I was like, well, I really enjoy writing. How can I make a career out of that? And that's kind of how I explored in journalism.
And it's a beautiful compromise, too, because in journalism, it appeases the family in the sense of this is a real legitimate career. Yeah. And it appeases your creative aspect as well. Yeah. So television journalism is obviously what you wanted to go into.
No, it's not.
Oh, I'm learning something new. Okay, so tell me about that then.
So I realized...
Tell us about that.
Yeah, I realized that I think a part of me knew I was eventually going to end up in broadcast because, again, look at me. I'm not made to just be behind the scenes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, and as real as that might sound, like it's just the truth. Like a lot of people who've met me and have talked to me, they're like, "Oh, you're really doing, what you were meant to do," kind of thing. And I'm like, "Yeah, but it's not always like that when you start."
Yeah, sometimes you don't know. See, for me, I knew. Like my dad was a dancer, and theater was a part of who we were, and I was loud and obnoxious, and everyone's like, "She's gonna be a performer." So I get that.
Yeah. So I didn't think I was gonna go into to broadcast because I was more of a writer. Right. I like to be in my own thoughts.
And it's also in the background.
Yeah, it's in the background. Yeah. It's not. So I was like, oh, no, I'll be behind the scenes and do things like that. And the more that I thought about that and the more that I was actually, when I was in school and studying journalism, and I realized I was like, I can't just be behind the scenes. That's kind of where it was like an awakening, where it was like, you can't really just only be behind the scenes. You need to find your courage and you need to get in front of the camera. You need to figure out how to make that happen, kind of thing. So a lot of, before getting in front of the camera, was building my confidence.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which was something that I struggled with all the way through till today.
Yeah.
So a lot of it was building my confidence. I did a lot of modeling to put myself out of my comfort zone.
Nice.
Because I do not model I didn't want to model. It was just something that someone was like, you should try this. And I was like, okay.
I always fell into it. It was just like, do you want to do hair modeling? Do you want to? I'm like, no.
Yeah, no.
Oh, we'll pay you. Okay.
It was not that's the thing. It was never my first choice. Yeah. But I was like, you know what? I'm going to use this as a learning experience instead.
Yeah, exactly.
And use it as a way to get myself out of my comfort zone. Because I'm not comfortable doing this. And I'm not comfortable putting myself out there and being the center of attention.
And that's what I did too. Like when I was younger, I didn't understand how to be in front of a camera. Yeah. And that was my way to kind of go, okay, I need to feel comfortable with it. Right? This is me and the photographer and the lights and all that stuff, and it'll be fun, but it's also not a big stage. It's not, live in front of an audience. It's just us. Yeah. So I understand that completely.
Yeah, I mean, it's even like struggling with public speaking. I struggled so much with public speaking. Like doing presentations in school would terrify me.
Really?
But you're so
good at this.
And that's the thing. People never knew the part of me that was terrified. People only see this version of me, and they're just like, oh, but Alyssa, you're so good at it. And I'm like, no, Alyssa's really not good at it.
Thank you, but you don't know the sweat that's involved.
I was like, you don't know that I'm sweating profusely under this cardigan.
But it's true, because when I was in the theater, that whole adage of, actors who throw up before I've seen many of that. And then they go on the stage, and they're Sir Laurence Olivier. And you're just like, holy, how do you do that balance? Yeah. And that's what we're going to talk about when we get back, is the balance between, life and work, that kind of thing. So we'll be right back after these messages.
Are you retiring smart? Make your home's equity work for you. With your home's equity and our 30 years of experience, the Retire Smart Properties team can help you achieve the quality of life you've always wanted. Our services are 360 degrees. We'll give you advice, take care of staging and selling, and help you find the perfect home and community to transition to. It's time to enjoy the retirement lifestyle you deserve. Visit our website today to learn how you can use your home to retire comfortably. The Retire Smart Properties team, powered by...
Hi, and we're back with messages from an angel. Now, we were going to start this segment with balance, and how do you balance, your personal life with all the work we have to do here and that kind of thing, and all the events you go to and that kind of stuff. But actually, what I really want to talk about, maybe we'll get to that, of course we'll get to that, is how you work with your guests and how you work with your hosts. And, I work with intuition. I work with energy and that kind of stuff, which is, again, one of the reasons I wanted you on this show, because it is very working with your intuition. We're very spontaneous, and that is a very energetic thing. So when you're working with your guests, what's that like?
So when I ask someone to be a guest on my show, normally it's because I know a little bit about them already. I follow them online on social media, so I've seen some of their videos, I've seen anything that they've kind of done, the work that they're a part of, and I see how I would be able to contribute to that conversation.
And that's also an intuitive thing too, right? It's one of the things where you look at them and go, I connect.
Yeah.
Right? And that's a big thing for me, because before I have anybody on any show, I'm just like, do I resonate with them? Because I may not have met them before the show. I'll have them on social media or friends of friends or, someone I've heard about. Yeah. But intuitively, you just kind of know.
That's the thing, you just kind of know. Like, I kind of vibe with a lot of people. I'm like, how would this, if I was to have, I try to have the conversation in my head before we do the show. And I'm like, if I was to sit down and have a show with this person, how would that conversation look like?
Yeah, that's really good. Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So when I do that, then I'm able to be like, okay, this is how I'm going to map out the show. This is what we're going to talk about. This is the topics we're going to discuss. Things like that. So, and it's a lot of the time too, I've never met the person. So when they come into the studio and I'm shaking their hand for the first time, it's the first time we're actually
meeting,
connecting. Yeah.
And that's it. And we talk a lot on this show about following your truth and what is your truth. And and I find that when we follow our truth, it makes it easier for us to do the shows. And I find that the questions come very simply. And I think your show was one of the first ones that I looked at on YouTube and went, real talk. I love that, because I love the idea of being real. And the more real you are, the more truthful you are, the better the show's going to be. And I find that with certain guests, and we were talking about this in the break, certain guests are easier than others, right? Like, it's like I was saying to you, I'm comfortable and relaxed doing my shows and that kind of thing, because I do have that experience and that kind of stuff. And my guests are amazing. But then you have somebody who is a host, who does work at your station. We're both looking at the timer, so it's that added layer of relaxed. So when you have that added layer of relaxed, all of a sudden you're just more open, right? And you're just kind of talking and going, okay, what are we going to do? And so we have another host that I wanted to talk about, because she's going to be on our show, Simone. And Simone has her own show, right? And that's
Here to Help You.
Thank you. Here to Help You. But I've seen you and Simone work together. Yeah. Right? So do you feel that you jive with some people more than you jive with others?
So, funny story, and Simone will know this
story.
I
love stories.
So,
I hope she's watching.
I hope she's watching too, but the first conversation I had with Simone was like 3-4 years ago when I started working for the Toronto Caribbean.
Now, you were actually talking to her on the show?
No, on the phone.
On the phone, okay.
I had never met Simone before.
Okay.
I had, we do a section in the paper called Women Empowered.
Oh, okay.
And Trish kind of passed her information along to me, and she was like, do a Women Empowered on Simone. I'm like, who's Simone? I don't even know who Simone is. Kind of thing. And then I set up a time, and I called Simone on the phone. And I remember me and Simone had this really long conversation about who she was and the things she does and the work that she's a part of. And I really remember connecting with Simone through that conversation on the phone. I was like, when you feel good after a conversation?
Yeah, totally.
Even though you haven't met the person?
Oh my God,
on the phone. And I was like, I don't even know this lady, but I feel like I know her.
Do you know what's really funny you say that? Because the first time I met Simone, ironically enough, I had come here to, I believe, talked to Trish, the one of the station managers, and it was really cool because she was here and she had her dog with her. It was just before she went to England.
Yes.
And I thought, how ironic that you would have your dog here. I'm an animal communicator. There is a reason for this. And we started talking, and again, there's that comfort level. And some people just have that. And Simone just had that beautiful charisma about her, right? So she's easy to connect to. But for us as hosts, it's like, okay, you know what? I like you as a person, but ding, 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 there's this alarm that goes off in our heads that goes, potential guests. Potential guests.
Yes, that's
right?
exactly what it is.
Yeah, and again, she's highly energetic. And I find that about the hosts here and about who we are here is we can be very, very instinctive. We have our staff and everybody has their thing, but we all have this connection that is about community. Yes. And that's the thing I think I like the most is the fact that your show is very much about community. Yeah. It's very much about energetically connecting to people and sharing that with those viewers out there. One of the other really interesting guests that you had on was actually just last week. And it was a gentleman named Prime. Prime. Tell me a little bit about this guy, because I didn't see the whole show, but boy, his energy just exudes. Eh?
So Prime was a really, he was a surprise to me. Yeah. I did not know what I was getting into because I didn't actually connect with Prime until that morning.
Really?
Because I was not talking to him. I was talking to a third party who was organizing the interview. So they were like, we have this guy. He's a choreographer. He's available to come on the show because he wants to talk about the production that they have that is upcoming. So I was like, yeah, sure, this sounds interesting. Let's talk about it. Because then I knew how I could tie in the show with dance and cultural perspectives and things like that. So I was like, yeah, have him on the show. So when he came in, I was a little bit thrown because I was like, his energy was it was low.
Really?
Yeah, his energy was kind of low, and he was very, calm and collected, and I didn't really understand how to take it because, again, I'm like, oh my god. And then I was like, I wonder if this is going to be a good show.
Yeah.
That was my first thought.
Where can I take this?
Where can I take this show? And when he came on, I was pleasantly surprised by the conversation that we had because I realized he was very intellectual.
Very deep.
When it came to the conversations, the kinds of things that the concept that he was breaking down for me, I was like, I feel like I should just let you do this show. Because
exactly. Just let him go. And there are some guests, right, where you just sit back and you go, enjoy, have fun.
Yeah.
You know? But it was really, I found him really interesting because he had knowledge in so many different aspects of life, not just about, he didn't just talk about choreography, you know, he talked about religion, he talked about spirituality, he talked about, the company. I mean, he was talking about business. He had a whole range of things. And he
gave me the vibe of a very well-traveled person.
Yes.
Very well-traveled with perspectives, enlightened perspectives on things that we were talking about. And I was like, wow.
Now, you have a lot of shows that you've done. I think you're up to 79 shows. You're almost at that 100 mark, man.
I've made it yet.
Oh, my God. So you must have some really interesting stories. And I know we're not supposed to, but do you have your favorite guest? Favorite guests, favorite stories?
I'm trying to think if I do have a favorite guest. And I feel
like... so wonderful.
That's what I'm saying, because I think every guest brings something unique to the table.
I agree.
And sometimes you'll leave and you'll have a conversation. You're like, that was a really good show.
Yeah.
And I've had shows like that. I've had shows where I've come off the air and I'm like, that was a really great show. I enjoyed it. I know the guests had a great time. And to my mind comes one specific show where I had a pianist on the show.
Really?
That's the one show that kind of comes to my mind when you ask me this question, because I remember, I don't know what it was going to be like having a conversation with someone who plays the piano for a living. I used to play the piano and didn't continue because I was like, I have no discipline when it comes to things like that. But he was on the show and he was talking about his passion and stuff like that. But his personality in itself was not what I expected as well.
Yeah, and that's it too. I find that as a reader, I kind of have an image in my head and I have a feeling of who they are and that kind of thing. But it never ceases to amaze me how some people will come in and they just shock you.
Yeah.
Because again, you're tapping into who they are, not who they are in front of you on television.
Yeah,
right? And it's a completely different ballgame.
Yeah.
I've actually had people on my radio show where they barely say a word to you, and you're just, again, you sit there and go, is this going to work? Are we going to have a show? And then they just open up. Yeah. But that's partly us too, right?
Yeah.
Because I find that once they get comfortable with us. I had one person on this particular show, and she was so nervous. She was so scared up until the second the camera went on, and then we started talking, and you could see her shift and change from the beginning of the show to the end of the show.
Yeah.
And that again is opening spirit up, and when you open that up, all of a sudden everything starts to work. Eh?
Well, I always compare it to sitting down with a friend for coffee.
Yes. Yeah. And that's what I say to people. I always say to my guests, when you come on my show, it's just like us having coffee, us chatting and being somewhere. We're just kind of having, and it's girlfriends.
I find the best conversations happen over a cup of coffee.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Although I have to tell you, I did have one, and they are going to be on our show. And I might as well say this because the cat is, I think, kind of out of the bag. We now have the capability of split screen.
Yes.
Right. So we can actually have guests from all over the world. And because we have that now, we're going to be exploring a lot more. And I had this, and the reason I say that is because I had a guest on my show from Peru. He was a medicine man. And it was so unique because we didn't speak the same language.
Oh.
He spoke Quechua. And so he had his interpreter with him. But at one point, he stopped the interpreter, and he just started talking to me. And he looked at, and he pointed to my heart, and he pointed to his heart, and he said, this is how we speak. And as he spoke, I could almost hear what he was trying to say, right? And I wasn't accurate a lot of the time, but it was like, I got it. I saw what he was trying to do. And it was so cool. And we're actually gonna have a little bit of that because I've invited them on this particular show. But I have to tell you, that was one of my favorite moments because I was terrified. I was scared. I was nervous. I'm like, oh my God, how do you break that barrier of language? And all of a sudden it made sense. It's just speak from your heart, speak that truth, right? And just the show was phenomenal. It really, truly was phenomenal. And I think that was probably my favorite show. All right, when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more with Alyssa Mahadeo. God, it was such a sexy name. Back on Messages from an Angel.
Are you retiring smart? Make your home's equity work for you. With your home's equity and our 30 years of experience, the Retire Smart Properties team can help you achieve the quality of life you've always wanted. Our services are 360 degrees. We'll give you advice, take care of staging and selling, and help you find the perfect home and community to transition to. It's time to enjoy the retirement lifestyle you deserve. Visit our website today to learn how you can use your home to retire comfortably. The Retire Smart Properties team, powered by RE/MAX West.
Hi, we're back with Messages from an Angel. This topic, excuse me, got an itch. This part of the show I think is going to be really interesting because this is something that a lot of people don't get to talk about.
No.
And what is it like to have a career in television, in media, on the air, and have a personal life. Like, how do you find that? How do you balance it? How do you do it?
So when I started working for the newspaper, I was actually working somewhere else. I was actually working at 2 different other places as well. So I had like 3 jobs at one point, which was hectic. But I was still, this is gonna make me sound so old, but I feel like I was still young, and I was like,
you were young in the profession.
Yeah, I was young in the profession. I was now starting my career in media, so I was hungry. I was like, I'm still hungry, but more hungry than I was now.
Yes.
Because now I'm trying to balance things out, right?
Yeah. And but with experience too, you start to relax and you're just like, okay, I don't have to try as hard.
Yeah, because I've kind of set the tone for what I'm capable of.
Yeah, and you don't have to prove yourself anymore. You're just like, look, I have the experience, I don't have to do that. So yeah, I get that.
So when I started doing that, and I made sure that I was always trying to fit events and things into my schedule. So work came first. Work was my only priority.
When you're young, especially when you're young or single, that makes it so much easier.
I wasn't single, but I did make sure that work was it was my priority even over family, because we would have family events and I just wouldn't go because I'm like, guys, I have to work. Yeah. Kind of thing. So there was a lot of that.
Yeah, Nisha's totally commiserating back. She's like, yep, absolutely.
Yeah, no, because I was like, guys, I can't come to this, or I can't do this, or I can't have fun today because I need to go and work.
I gotta work. Yeah.
Right? So that kind of happened, and this has only shifted in my life this year. And I realized, I was like, okay, you need to chill, because I'm so invested in work, and then once you give me a job to do, I need to make sure to do it the best of my ability. Yep. And it was only this year that I was like, hey, I think we can take a step back and figure out what's going on in your personal life.
Yeah, see, I was the same way. When I first started, I was actually managing a theater downtown, and when I had Joseph, my son, he would come with me in a bassinet to sit by my desk while I was like putting events together and doing, but my work was first. Everything became my work. Yeah. And again, only in the last year or two. And I think that's something in the energy, because we had Nancy Ruda, the astrologer, on, and she was saying, it's about us. It's about me. It's about who I am. And I'm finding that I am really trying to focus a balance and striking that balance between having now a teenage son and having, like I was saying in the break, to be his chauffeur, and finding time for my relationship and that alone time. Do I still put in those days where I'm like up till 2 o'clock in the morning on social media? Sure, I have those days, but they're not as, oh my God, I have to do it. Oh my God, I have to prove that I'm good. I'm going to prove that I'm kind of more laid back. It's like, I wake up in the morning, I have my coffee. Oh, you know what? I have clients. I have this. I schedule my life so that I have a life.
Yeah. And you have to schedule your life. And I said that I said this at the beginning of the year to myself. I was like, this for me is going to be a year of transitions. Yeah. Because there are so many other things I want to do again. I think I'm still young, and I want to do things with my life while I'm still young.
That's it, right? And I'm sorry, I'm old, and I still want to do things. Comparatively speaking.
Comparatively speaking, you want to make more time for the things that you don't always make time for. Yeah. So it was things like spending time with my family. It was things like going out on the weekends, because I was never going out on the weekends because I was working. Yeah. Right? I was like, let me go to this event because that's more important for my career than it is for me to go have fun with my friends.
It's funny you say that. Last week or the week before, I was on News Talk 1010, and the guys, Carl and Joseph, went out to build a computer with their buddies. And I said, okay, that's fine. But now I had nothing to do, and Tiff was on. So I thought, you know what? I have not, in a long time, just had a girl night. And I ended up at the Rex, and I ended on Queen Street in Toronto, for those of you who are, not here. And I listened to jazz, and I couldn't remember the last time I did that. Yeah. I couldn't remember the last time I just ordered a rum and Coke and just, some fries. Yes, I eat fries. And it's just listened to music for me. And it was so fulfilling. Like my spirit felt so good. Yeah. And for me, it always comes back to that, because when I come here to TCN or with Rogers or with News Talk, wherever I'm at, whatever outlet I'm working with, even if it's a one-on-one in the office, I feel good. Yeah. I feel pumped from the night before. I feel like, okay, you know what? I had a date last night, so I was able to go see a movie and reconnect with him and watch Terminator or Jurassic Park or whatever the case may be, right? And that really does exude to the audience out there.
It really does. And that's like I said, I've been in a relationship for like 8 years, and we've been together through a lot of things. Yeah. So even when I was starting out my career, it was still early. He's always on my team which is very important in a relationship. He's always on my team. He's like, what do you want to do? Okay, how are you gonna kind of do it, right? And then he's always supporting me that way. He's like, he understands what my job is like, and that every the weekend I'm not available, and I don't have a flexible schedule like that. Sometimes I've got things scheduled back to back, and I need to do them. But he's understanding of that.
Yes, and that is important. That's something, again, we were saying in the break, is having a support system that understands you have a crazy schedule, right? A support system.
I can't see you every day.
Yeah, like a support system. See, my thing, the commitment I made when I moved in with Carl was that no matter how crazy our schedules are, I'm going to see you at the end of the night. I'm going to be able to cuddle with you before we go to sleep, and you're the first person I'm going to see, and we're going to make time for that coffee. You know, it's for me, it's a very 1950s thing, but I will get out of bed and I will make him lunch. I'll make him coffee, and we'll talk before he goes. Then when he comes, before Joseph even comes running down the stairs to say hi, we have those moments. And for me, it's those little moments that keep me going, right? That say, okay, this relationship really works for me. Right?
And the fact that you live with him, like I've never lived with my boyfriend. Yeah. Like we live, both of us live at our parents' house. And it's just about making the time in the schedule because, again, he's got a busy schedule. He's got things on his plate.
Right? Because he's a realtor.
Yeah, he's a realtor.
So he doesn't have a 9 to 5.
He's a YouTuber as well, so he's making videos. He's got to go out and get his own content.
Oh, so he gets that part of it.
Yeah, so he totally understands when it comes to that perspective. But that's the thing. He's never been like, you don't make time for me. I don't think we've ever said that in our relationship.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, do you find, see, with me, I find, and I think you're going to, especially as this station grows, anonymity is a big thing. Like that's one of the reasons we actually moved from Keswick to here is because my station was there, Rogers was there, and everybody knew me, right? So it's like no matter where I went, my son actually had cards in his pocket, and when somebody stopped us, he'd be the first one, here, there's her card, go check her out, kind of thing. Yeah. So do you find that sometimes when you go to places, especially, you know, cultural events, people know who you are?
Yes. I go to when I go to Weston,
he's just laughing.
When I go to now more than ever, and again, it's because I've been working here for the past 4 years. It'll be 5 years next year. People see me and they might not know me right away, but they know my face because they've seen me on a picture or in the newspaper or something. And the funny thing is, like, they won't really come up to me and say anything, but they'll just stare at me from, like, a distance.
Oh, my God. No kidding. I had a woman follow me in the grocery store in Newmarket, and I knew that she knew me from television. So eventually what I did was I actually got up close and pretended to, like, look at the can or whatever. I'm like, do you like, she goes, yes. And I said, hi, my name is Anne. She goes, I know. And I kind of opened up the conversation. So you can even feel it when people, they want to come to you.
They want to, you see them. Like, I've seen people just stare at me or look at me because they recognize me from somewhere. And I'll usually just be like, oh, hi, you know, kind of thing. But I don't ever really introduce myself unless they ask. Yeah. Because I'm just like...
It's so funny, though. It's for me, though, it's like, because we were talking about the quiet and that kind of thing. I like my anonymity too. So it's like, I like the idea that people know who I am, but in the same token, I don't. Like, do you know what I mean?
I allow people to know as much as I want them to know.
Yeah. Absolutely.
That's kind of how I live my life. Yeah, that's the trick to doing anything because, again, I really do enjoy my personal life. I like my privacy.
Yeah, and the thing is like I like keeping my personal life separate from my career. Like, yes, sometimes I'll talk about Joseph or that kind of thing, and that's fine. But when I'm at home, I'm at home. And I like the idea of kind of having, and Carl and I have talked about, because he's in IT, right? So he's very quiet, and he can be very shy until you get to know him. And we've talked about, it's like, I don't want to be, and you know, it's like I said to him, I don't think it's ever going to happen. I'm Canadian. And I'm not Mel Gibson. Like, do you know what I mean? I'm psychic. So I'm never going to be Mel Gibson. I'm never going to be Gwyneth Paltrow. I'll never have that kind of popularity. So I don't think I'll ever have that problem. Do you know what I mean? No matter what I do. Yeah. But I like the idea of people, like with Barb DeJulia on News Talk, people don't know who she is until she says her name. Yeah. Right? Because she's on the radio. Yeah. So there's always that give and take and that balance that you have to kind of strike and kind of go, okay, this is my space. If I'm out to dinner, it's like, you know what? Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. I'm just having some quiet time and being able to have the strength to be able to say that. Yeah. Have you gotten to that point where you're just like, okay, you know what? I need that time?
No, because again, I don't think I've reached that level of like popularity where people are just like, oh my God, what is that?
Just wait. Anita, go ahead.
Yeah, like I don't think, and I don't ever think I'm really gonna reach that peak either. I don't think so.
Okay, so as a psychic.
Yeah.
I think you are going to reach that peak.
Really?
I think you are going to find that people are going to know who you are, but you're still going to be able to have that kind of be able to sit down in a cafe with your coffee and have that. But you're going to have people come up to you every once in a while and go, hey, I know who you are. I love that article, or I love that show you did.
And that makes me happy, because that means that what I'm doing is actually spreading joy to people.
Yeah, and you know, and don't get me wrong, I love that too. I do. But again, it's that strike between family time sometimes and having that anonymity.
Yeah.
And it is important to have that. But again, as you grow popular, as the station grows popular, understand that's going to be there. Anisha, you know, we were talking to you as well, and you were, you know, you're in a complete, like, it's really funny because you have the person who's beginning, the one who has all that experience, and then kind of someone who's got years and years behind them. So it's kind of a really nice little trilogy that we have having here. So we're going to talk a little bit to you, Anisha, after the break.
Are you retiring smart? Make your home's equity work for you. With your home's equity and our 30 years of experience, the Retire Smart Properties team can help you achieve the quality of life you've always wanted. Our services are 360 degrees. We'll give you advice, take care of staging and selling, and help you find the perfect home and community to transition to. It's time to enjoy the retirement lifestyle you deserve. Visit our website today to learn how you can use your home to retire comfortably. The Retire Smart Properties team, powered by RE/MAX West.
And we're back with messages from an angel. Now, we've talked to Alyssa, who's made that commitment to herself this year to find that balance. And for me, you know, that's always been a big part of my life, is finding that balance. And after years, you kind of come to that conclusion that that's important. Now, Anisha is, now what is your proper title? Tell everybody.
So I am production manager of the studio.
That's why you can't see
basically you are God. She is God. She makes sure we look good, we sound good. Okay, she is the equivalent to a stage manager in theater, I think, even more so. And so, Anisha, you are coming out of school, yes?
Yes.
And what school did you go to?
I went to Guelph Humber.
Represent.
Guelph Humber. Oh, I didn't realize. That's a fantastic program. And you majored in social media, right?
No, media studies.
Media studies.
Yeah,
I'm
digital
sorry.
communications.
Yeah. So now your life is at that point where it's all about work right now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So tell us about that. You were just saying that you even had a wedding event or an event to go to.
Oh, it was actually my sister's wedding.
And how? Well, you were at the wedding. You're definitely at the wedding. I know. I saw the
integral
picture.
part of the wedding.
Yeah, exactly. But you definitely had to draw boundaries right now.
I did.
Yeah.
So the day before the wedding, we did an at-home wedding. So obviously people running around like crazy.
Yeah.
We did everything ourselves. So when I told my mom and my sister that I have to be at the studio from this time to this time, they're like, it's the day before the wedding. And
Yeah.
I'm like, I have to work. I'm
It's
sorry.
just the way it is right
It's
now.
just-
Yeah.
I had to and I know I'm at that time in my life where I have to put in the work.
You're starting out. Yeah, absolutely. You're
Yeah.
starting out. So that is the time, and you'll always reap the benefits later.
Yeah.
You know, it's, you know, I find that some people can be incredibly short-sighted when it comes to work. It's like, yes, you have to have that balance, but you do have to put in the hours, especially when you're starting, because eventually you are going to have a family. Eventually you are going to have commitments to life that are not going to give you. And as you get older, you don't have the energy for it anymore, right?
And
As you get
life
older, you want to
isn't
retire.
only about work. That's the thing. Work is something that you do to pass time, I think, to be
Yeah.
honest.
And it's something to have fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's the other thing too, right? Like when you're young, you have the energy to have that kind of exuberance and
Yeah.
fun. And as you get older, now that fun becomes more, I just want to kick back at the cottage and I just want to chill out kind of thing.
But it's
I'm not
also
quite there yet,
taking
but-
that time for, again, that self-care, right? Because if you're just always in work, you're just going to be a ball of stress all the time, right?
So Anisha, how do you self-care?
I take certain evenings, like when I know I have a couple hours, I'll spend time with my dog.
Nice.
I occasionally see a movie. I don't pay too much attention to the things that, you know, self-care things. I do know when I feel stressed, I try to take extra time or, you know, take my time doing things.
Yeah.
Because I do love what I do. I love what I do.
Yeah.
And-
And that's so important, isn't it? Like even for me, like it was so funny because I was in theater for 20 years and I loved it, but there was still something that I felt like was missing.
Yeah.
And then even as a psychic, when I started my work here doing this, it was something was missing. And then all of a sudden I had the opportunity to put the two together and it was like, oh my God, I know who I am now. I know what I want to do.
Yeah.
And that passion really drives you as well.
Yeah.
And I think that's the biggest thing. Like, I don't care if it's a show, if it's a small show, if it's a network, if it's a big thing. You as an individual will succeed in whatever you do, so long as you have a passion for what you do and that balance is there. And that's so vital, I think.
yeah,
you know.
no, seriously.
It definitely is.
Yeah, and finding that balance is really, really important. So now, if you had anything you want to tell my viewers out there or our viewers out there, because I'm hoping your viewers are watching too, what would it be that you would want to leave them with as a thought?
So I always say this. I have this poster up in my room. It's actually a canvas, and it says, "Live your life with no regrets." And I think it's so, so, so important that you live your life that way because, again, as someone who does Real Talk, I feel like it's important that you live the most authentic version of yourself.
Who you are, yeah.
So always be true to that person. And it sounds so cliche to say to be true to who you are.
It does, but it's true nonetheless, right? True nonetheless.
Because, again, I find it very hard to force a personality that's not there.
Yeah,
already.
Yeah, absolutely. And oh, it's funny because guess who just chimed in? So Simone.
That's Erica.
Is that Erica? Oh,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Oh, Erica, she's one of our other hosts. I'm sorry for I can't see from here. She says work ethic. Yeah, work ethic is so important, and that encompasses everything too. Erica, thank you for chiming in. Erica has a wonderful show too, and I'm hoping to have Erica on the show at some point. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
But it's like we're saying, that whole idea of being your authentic self, being your true self, I think is really, really important.
I make my decisions based on, okay, if I don't do this, am I going to regret this later?
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I make my decisions in life. So, like, I'll do things, and then I'll sit there and I'll be like, it'll eat at you when you know that you've made the wrong decision.
And that's intuition,
Yeah.
right? That is that instinct inside you and going, I should hit now, or I shouldn't, or I should do this.
Yeah.
And you know, and it's so funny you say that because my mentor, my everything is Sir Richard Branson. I love him. He's creative. He's fun. He's got a great campaign manager. The reality is he's got a book and it says, if it isn't fun, don't do it. And I almost fell when I saw that at a book in Indigo because that's what I live by. If it's not fun, don't do it.
Yeah.
You know, I mountain bike, I've bridge jumped, I've done all kinds of stuff. And not because I'm crazy, just because I looked at it and I went, that sounds like it's fun.
Yeah.
You know,
and that's
what can I
exactly
do with
what
that?
it is. There's so many experiences that I've had now that I wouldn't have thought that I would have done.
Yeah.
But I was like,
Yeah.
no, you know what? I should do this now while I can.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, and that's living in the moment. And that's a really important thing too. And I think that's one of the reasons, and I have to address that too, is why we do so well on camera is because we can be in the moment.
Yeah.
We can live spontaneously, right? As a Gemini myself, what are you? What's your sign?
I'm an Aries.
An Aries. Okay, so Aries and Gemini actually work really well together, but Aries and Gemini are very similar. They're very spontaneous, right? They can be very, the Aries can be very much a strategist. That's where the quiet is, and they can be very balls to the wall, so to speak. So they can be really out there, but they're very, very spontaneous, and they can do it on the fly. Yeah. And a lot of people can't do that. That's actually a gift we've been given by the universe, thank God, and we know how to utilize it on camera. So that idea of living our truth allows us that ability to improvise whenever we want. Because even when you have a guest, what do you do when you have a guest that isn't able to carry a show for you? What do you do?
Yeah.
You know, what was your scariest moment on camera?
My scariest moment on camera?
Have you ever had one?
I don't think I have.
Good for you. Lucky you.
Because that's the thing, like, I'll do something or I'll say, like, for me, the scariest moment is messing up or not remembering what I wanted to say.
Yes. Yeah, you know, that is a nerve-wracking moment.
Yeah, so that's like, a nerve-wracking moment in itself. And you're just like, oh my God, what was I even talking about?
Do you know what my worst one? Anisha, we've had this where we come back from a commercial, we're just about, I'm like, what did we say we were coming back with? What were we talking about? Because we chat, right? We chat. We get so encompassed in what we're doing outside of the camera as well as inside, right?
Also, I find
camera.
Once the thought has left my head, it doesn't come back.
Okay, so it's just me. I get in trouble for that all the time.
Yeah, like it'll go around the universe and then come back, and I'll be like, that's what I was thinking about.
But do you know why that happens? And I will tell you, it's because we're present. When you are in the moment has passed. So there's the thought. Oh, there goes the thought. You know, and that's the way it is. There's a great moment in the Muppet Christmas Carol. And I swear to God, I live my life by this because I never understood why I was like this. But what happens is Michael Caine, who plays Scrooge, goes to see the Ghost of Christmas Present. Yes. And he says, come in, enjoy your life, come in, be merry. And he comes and he walks in and he turns and he goes, oh, hello. He goes, come in, joy, be merry. And he starts to talk. And he goes, hello, have I told you to come in and join me and be merry? And I realized, yes, it's really funny, but he keeps forgetting what he's saying because he's so here. He's so present. The past is the past, and we're in this moment. So now when I forget something, that character actually comes to my head, and I go, okay, you know what? That's okay. I forgot it just because I'm in the moment. So you know what? Show me. And I'll actually ask. I'll go, you know what? Show me. Guide me right back to where I need to be. And for some reason, it's there again. It's all there again. And I love it. I love that. And I think it's also because even though you're an introvert, you have A-type personality. And A-types have to have that stimulation. We're risk takers, right? So we like to go, mountain climbing or, belaying or that kind of thing, which is a form of rock climbing. We like to do those things. And you like to do those things.
I mean, for the first time last year, I believe it was, I went backcountry camping. And that in itself was an experience. Because I didn't know that I was capable of some of the things that I had to do. Like we had to row out 3 hours in a canoe. And I was like, my arms were on fire by the time I was done. And I remember like it was so hard to sleep that night because like my arms were like burning me. But doing it and just being able to do it was to me an accomplishment in itself, because I was like, a lot of people look at me and they're like, this girl's probably like really high maintenance and she probably like really worries about
that's it. Do you know what I find? I find that men and women who really have an active lifestyle are actually very simple people. Yeah. They're actually simple because they know they need to be simple to do the things they do. Just go and do it. Yeah. Those are not high. I find that they're the least high maintenance.
Like people. I like nice things and I enjoy like buying expensive things when I can and like splurging.
I'm a Gemini. I get it.
Yeah. From time to time doing things like that. But then there are times where I like to be like the simplistic lifestyle is something that I really
I'm
really
a Gemini.
enjoy.
I'm dual, right? So I've had to find that balance between I love a simple lifestyle, but I have really, really nice things that I want to buy. Yeah. So I like sales. Yeah. My thing is wait for the sales. And my boyfriend is Sale King. Yeah. Like, he's fantastic that way. Thank you so much for being on the show today. I have had an amazing, I think this show is whipped by more than any other show. Like, this is insane. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody. We'll be right back after these messages on Messages from an Angel.
Are you retiring smart? Make your home's equity work for you. With your home's equity and our 30 years of experience, the Retire Smart Properties team can help you achieve the quality of life you've always wanted. Our services are 360 degrees. We'll give you advice, take care of staging and selling, and help you find the perfect home and community to transition to. It's time to enjoy the retirement lifestyle you deserve. Visit our website today to learn how you can use your home to retire comfortably. The Retire Smart Properties team, powered by RE/MAX West.
Hi, and we're back with messages from an angel. Thank you so much for joining us today and our guest, Alyssa Mahadeo. We had a fantastic time. I was saying that I don't get to talk about this part of my work. I talk about being a psychic, I talk about all the energy work, but I don't get to talk about the media, like what it's like to be here. So today was not only a fun show, but it was an informative show even for me to see what other hosts go through and to commiserate with them. So thank you so much. And Erica says, working at TCN is a rush because I'm surrounded by passionate people who love what they do and have a strong, positive work ethic. And with that, I'm going to close our show today. Thank you, Erica. Thank you, Alyssa. Thank you, Anisha, for being on our show today. And we'll see you next week, next Thursday, 12 to 1 on Messages from an Angel.